Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us your comments. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, football fans across the world, because we are definitely worldwide now.
Yeah.
Inside. We're back, another season. It's the Pitchside podcast. Sniper Khan. The effect afterwards. Top.
Sharp
Yeah.
yeah.
No complaints.
Take your our G, Mama.
Emuna o libetsu twist a new season, new set, also twisting real. Fashion icon ya rona sa twisting. Cheba growth, una le growth.
Yeah.
Eh?
Ke godisa. Wa hlopha di man.
Ke bona gore agme yare. E re tla mona tla ba re a o ilahlele go mra gore bona. Etsa ka letsoro so. Yes. Gentlemen, it's a new season and it's exciting times.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, Naves. It's something that we've anticipated for a while, even though we never got time to rest.
Yeah.
But the business continues, and Mamelodi Sundowns is continue with the dominance like we did in the past 8 years.
Yeah.
So it's another quest for us to continue with what we've been doing. So I'm up for it. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Modise, I've heard a lot of the coaches speak about having a 6-week preseason. We are coming in with a 2-week preseason,
Yeah.
but as you saw in the last game in the MTN8, we played very well. Do you think that will have an impact?
And Naves, to be honest with you, like even before the game, because I was doing that game, I actually had a conversation with him regarding that.
Yeah.
As to then, will that impact that game that we're about to play in that day? And he relied so much on the talent of the players and the mentality as well.
Yeah.
And for me, that gave me a little bit of insight when I went upstairs to actually go and commentate. Of course, at some point, you look at it as to then, okay, like you had all these other teams that had, number of days, number of weeks for preseason, but yet again, we had a little bit of one, maybe like a short one, like you rightfully alluded, but also we played at the highest level as well.
Yeah.
So you still can rely on the muscle memory to be able to kick in whenever you need it to. But I think at this early stage of the season, it's going to require a coach maybe to rotate a little bit in terms of all that, because other guys that were playing more games and then other ones were training more. So you can have a little bit of a balance. Maybe that will force the team to actually have that type of changes. But you look at the previous game, you don't see any problem regarding that. But I strongly believe that in between the breaks, you'll be able to catch up. And what's the best way to catch up is to the level of fitness with other teams through games.
Through games.
Yeah.
Sugar, we're at a stage where I think a lot of people were looking at the transfer market and speaking about hey, these guys haven't signed. I wonder what tricks they have up their sleeve. And
Fasten your belt.
we've seen the introduction of, for example, the one signing we've launched is Pasadena, and the others or any other signings haven't been spoken. But we've also seen a lot of the boys from development that have also come up into the team.
The inclusion of Pasadena, you could see he brings another dimension that will definitely help the club. You saw him coming in as a right back, which goes into the midfield. That helped a lot in terms of balancing, and also like what you just asked Teko now about the kind of preseason we had that was shorter. It then helps to have more players duplicating positions and covering each other. So that helps. And seeing the younger ones, you could see the excitement from the return of Mabunda and the on-form Kutlwano. You could hear what the supporters are excited about, and it gives them confidence seeing them coming on those last few minutes but still having an impact in the game. And it's really something we want to see. And going forward, we've got Mali, who is currently with the national team. That tells you that there is a great work that has been done when it comes to the younger ones, preparing them for the responsibility of wearing the Mamelodi Sundowns jersey.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility that.
This badge is heavy.
It is heavy.
Modise, the coach spoke about trimming the squad, right?
Yeah.
I think you've been in a position where you've been part of a big squad and also have been part of a team with a smaller squad. What do you think the major difference is between the two, and the importance of having a balanced squad, and balance is relative because
Yeah.
one coach might say 25 players is more than enough for a season, but the next one will be like, looking at the number of games we play, maybe we need 32, which is,
I think it has its pros and cons. And
Yeah.
you look at if then when you reduce the squad, it means you want a manageable squad. You want players that you can able to use, right, and also be able to manage the team properly, whether emotionally, whether physically, because then you know the number of players that you have, and also it gives a proper insight as to then which games Naves should miss, which games Sugar should play, based on the numbers as well. And also what it does is, if you look at the Mamelodi Sundowns schedule for the last 10 years, you have players that will easily give you...
You said that so easily, the last 10 years.
Yeah,
It's a big feat.
Yeah, international level.
Yeah.
So you look at the last 10 years, you have easily players that will give you 50 games, 60 games a season, right? Because of you play in Champions League, you play all these things. So it's 50 games per season. Then you look at the other guys that will give you maybe 4 or 5 games per season that are not playing. So therefore, then you end up realizing that you have all these other players that you're not going to be able to use. Then you might as well reduce. But when you reduce, you must make sure that you have enough quality.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that Mamelodi Sundowns brag themselves about, as to then we have depth and quality. But if then you have to reduce it, then it's going to be relying on making sure that maybe that also it might help in terms of how then we kill games a little bit earlier. Because then when you go into a game, you kill a game a little bit earlier, I can rest you.
Yeah.
Or also I can rest the team while on the ball while still being in play. So I think that's a good thing to do, because you look at the whole world. We need to copy what the world is doing. You look at the PSG, they don't have gazillions number of players. But what helps them is like that unity, the small numbers that they have and the quality that they have, it helps them, because then it pushes them to do more things. And I think for the coach, it's better for him, whatever that he needs. Us as a team, we need to be able to support him for him to reach, the greatest heights that he wants to reach. And we all know that we can have all this conversation about the league and everything else. We know where we actually want to go, which is the Champions League. And if trimming the team means us going to the Champions League and sure we win it, why not?
Yeah. Sugar, Teko just spoke about something very important, which is resting players while we have the ball. I remember you always used to speak about this, Jorge. You'd go in, little first half, 3 or 4 goals, and then Jorge, then from then on it's just controlling the game and managing the game, just so that you can rest, but you rest while you're on the field and you have the ball.
It's important, Naves, to get the result as quick as possible, considering also that we've had a long season. So get the job done as quick as possible so that you get enough rest, and you also at the same time you're giving other players an opportunity to showcase themselves and possibly also get a chance to represent the club. Teko just said that you might have a number of players that you know you're not going to use.
Yeah.
And then if you get the job done quicker, you're able to see other players within the competitive game. It helps you as a coach to also know your players. You've got your players like Tebza, Marcelo, who've played so many games at the highest level, at the highest tempo. And it's good when they get the job done. We scored 1, 2, 3. You rest them. You give another player a chance, and then it becomes easier for you to have a rotating squad, yet results are still coming.
The scary part about this, Modise, is that you'll have those guys who start, right? And let's say they 3-4-0 up in the first half, and you say you want to rest, and you do 4 subs, but you put in 4 people who are hungry to impress the coach, so that they can, and they might come in and bang in another 3 or 4. So there's big troubles on the horizon for opponents.
Yeah. There is, and it's always the case. I think every season, every team, when they do their own preseason, when they do their own recon, is to then how then we beat Mamelodi Sundowns, because we are a team to beat, and for that it forces now Mamelodi Sundowns to always elevate and always evolve, and by doing so, whether tactically, whether from a player's personality or whatever, we need to always evolve. And when you do have those type of players that you rest, and then you still have other players that are willing to raise their hands and show the coach that they're willing, they're ready to be on the first lineup and be able to bang those 3 or 4 goals. That's a good headache that the coach wants. Sure. Not many coaches in South Africa actually say that I've got a headache not knowing who to play. And that's what you want if you're an ambitious team like Mamelodi Sundowns. We always say, like, we always have the longest season than anybody else for the last 10, 15 years. We always have, because we play in Champions League. When we play in Champions League, people are resting, they're taking holidays. So we always have the longest season. They're praying. Oh, please, I want to brag. Yeah, we always have the longest season. So this is not new to us. but it's just that the challenges are always the same. The challenges maybe sometimes are getting much bigger, and it's about the team as to then how then we reach those challenges. When you see, because the thing is, like, what I like about Sundowns, the conversation are so different from other teams' conversations. We speaking of Champions League, winning Champions League. We're speaking of FIFA Club World Cup, and right now the biggest challenge that we're gonna face this season is a challenge that I don't think we've faced in a long time. In regard is to then, in a sense that we have AFCON come December, 80% of our players will be there and they'll be playing, and then when they come back, you're coming back to bread and butter, cup competitions, Champions League. So we have a biggest challenge that anybody has, that anybody will face this season. And I think with the players that we have, with the quality that we have, we hope that this is doable. We've seen in other countries doable. We've seen Argentina doing it. I mean, we've seen PSG doing it. So it's not something new to us. It's just us adopting what the world is doing and us implementing, because we regard ourselves as one of the best, not even one of the best team in the continent. So we should be able to do it. And I know that those are challenges that we put to the players, we put to the coaches, but the reason why we're doing it because we know that they're capable of doing it.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up very well. I mean, only 2 teams have qualified to not play the preliminary rounds of Champions League, which is us and Al Ahly, and it speaks about our position in the continent and where our goals are. Gents, the Betway Premiership kicks off, and our first game is against Chippa. They've assembled a new team, new technical team as well. It's kind of difficult to go in because they've played games behind closed doors, so you are actually not sure what to expect, except you can do player profile.
Yeah, true. I think it's always a difficult kind of an approach, but Mamelodi Sundowns has been through this a lot, because every season, like Teko says, Mamelodi Sundowns is the team to beat.
Yeah.
So you know that they are more concerned about us, even though we cannot be ignorant of what they are capable of doing, but we still need to just go there and apply ourselves the same way we applied ourselves in the previous game. So it then tells you that the journey continues. The boys know what to do. As much as it's not going to be an easy game, it's away. The traveling, the mind begins to remember the traveling and all that. But the job still needs to be done in the field of play.
Yeah. And also to add on what Sugar's saying, Naves, is we can face all these teams with new players, new management, new coaches. What we have as
unit,
the arsenal that we have is we have a certain way of playing.
Yeah.
That doesn't change. So now the disadvantage that other teams have is this new coach, new players. You need to form a formula for them to work. So we have even though when things can be difficult, we know as a team, as a unit, how to win games. And I think that's advantageous to us.
There are 2 sides to this, because the other side of it is if you're trying to form a new team and you come and you face Mamelodi Sundowns first game, you get 4. It's a tough start for you to try and form that team. But also the other side of it is the fact that we, as you guys have said, we have an identity, we have a way of playing. Do we then manage ourselves and say, give it first 10 or 15 minutes to see how they are setting up and how do we break through it?
But that's the challenge, though. Yeah. Most of the time is within those 15 minutes, those teams are sitting back. They're not even showing you as to then how they want to play. You only see that approach. And you only see that how they really want to play once they chasing the lead.
Yeah.
And that should be our advantage, because we let's take a lead, let's be comfortable, and the last 15, 20 minutes willing to suffer to defend because they will be coming. Right, but now it's the league. The league is you can't be conceding too many goals, even though you're playing against Mamelodi Sundowns. So the approach is going to be different, regardless of who we're facing. We still need to, like Sugar said, we still need to continue the way we continue. Maybe we always, get into a different gear every season, change a little things. Even right now you can see readiness from the previous game still in his goal-scoring form. You can see the players in the midfield are still gelling. So we need to continue the same way.
I think that's also the advantage then of the break not being so long, is that even as a striker you take it as, no, this is my rest period, I can get back in the game and bang the goals away.
Yeah.
You enjoy. The more games you play as a footballer, that's what you want. You want to play as many games as you can. You'll notice even when a player is playing and then the coach wants to sub him off, there's always that element of disappointment to say, why are you taking me off? Even though, like you say, the coach will say, we want to rest you, but as a player you want to play. And seeing him continue with the scoring form, you could see that I was very, very impressed with the second goal that he scored. You can see the finesse, you can see that he's coming from a FIFA Club World Cup, and his mind, his approach to the game is not just shoot to score, but he knows what he's trying to do, and that was really, really impressive for me.
I think the most difficult thing as human beings that we can do is to maintain consistency, like throughout your career, because you're human. You're going to have dips, you're going to have ups and downs. How important is it to take the experience of what we learned and the way we played at the Club World Cup back into the league to make sure that the gap between us and the opponents stays?
I think the lessons that we can take are the ones that we suffered from in the games, in a sense that if you don't score the chances that you created, you're going to get punished. And you look at the things that we normally get away with in South Africa, we couldn't get away with it.
No.
You know, a non-fluid build-up from the back, the wrong pass, you get punished, right? In the league, you can still get away with it. Those are the lessons that we can learn, but also things that we could also learn is maybe relearn as well, is to remember that you can still be able to control the tempo of the game regardless of the scoreline. Yeah. And you can, because then if you play organized football while you're in position of the ball, even defensively, you're still going to be organized because of the distance are shorter, you know, you're able to counter press. And I think because we are at this different level, let others chase. We don't have to chase, you know, and that comes back from the 10, 15 years ago when we used to score a little bit early for us to relax, you open up, we score again. And I think we do have the players, we do have the coach that knows exactly what is it that he wants to do. And for the fact that we still have so much hope within the players themselves, and we still demand more. And they know that wearing this jersey, there's so many demands, and there's so many games to be played. There's no time to rest. That's why if somebody's not doing well, it's so easy to stand out like a sore thumb because of the train is moving. I remember Coach Pitchside used to say, we'll win with or without you. Yeah. Right? And that's the mentality of Mamelodi Sundowns. But yet again, within the coach, what he said, trimming the squad, is what is it that we have learned from a FIFA Club World Cup? Also from the coaches as well. What is it that they've learned from a FIFA Club World Cup that can actually come back and implement? Because we played against harsh conditions. Yeah. People don't understand how hot it was there. It was so hot. And you played against you play against a team that was in the semi-final in the Champions League. You know, counter-pressing us, you know, and still after the game, they applauding us also as to Mamelodi Sundowns is one of the best teams. They play proper football. So we need to learn that people do appreciate the way we play. Yeah. We shouldn't change identity regardless of what's happening. And 100%. I think with what we need now is the players now to stand up. Because also we have, and what I like is like we have all these big competitions that are coming up. Also from an international point of view, when Bafana needs to qualify for the World Cup. I want to see Mamelodi Sundowns players going to the World Cup. It can't be the last people that played the World Cup. Can't be us. I mean that's a long time ago. We need your readiness. I need Timazona to be in the World Cup. I need Debza to be in the World Cup. You know, I see Modibas and all this, the Mkulisos, they need to be in the World Cup. And then you have AFCON again. The pressure. Bafana were third last time. So there's pressure for them to go
do better. Yeah, you got to do better.
We have players that are playing in the high level all the time. So we can't be looking at cheaper game like, but guys, it's just cheaper. No. We are here, my friend. And that's what we need to do. As much as it's going to be difficult, but it's doable.
Yeah, I think the one thing that you're highlighting is the difficulty of the mentality of a Sundowns player is to say, it's not just cheaper. I'm representing a big badge. I'm representing a team that has a very strong history. As you said, the last 10, 15 years have been 50 to 60 games a season. I don't think there's any other team in the league that can come and say, no, we've done this.
And still continue to be
unless
at the
they
top
count the friendlies they play in off-season.
And still compete for the league and compete for the Champions
Not compete
League.
for the league and win the league.
And win the league. You're right.
Because that's because the thing is like the thing is like Naves. The most difficult thing to win is the league. It's so difficult because it is so long, and yet you're competing against the other 15 teams. That's very, very difficult. But yet again, the importance also of winning these trophies in between, because that builds the reputation of you being the most dominant team, right? And it becomes such an important thing. And for Mamelodi Sundowns, at times because of the schedule that has been happening, we fail at certain things. So it comes back to your thing, or we can't be as consistent throughout our careers. We can't be consistent all through the season. We had a season that we thought, okay, we're invincible. Last game of the season when we lose. You know, it was so painful, like we lost the league. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes things like that don't happen, but we need to control what we can. So what we can control is going into this to the game against Chippa.
Yeah.
Control what we can on the game.
Yeah.
If the game doesn't allow us to be Mabunda Sundowns, get the results and walk out. Then you're looking forward to the next game and rebuild from there, because we can't be the Shushan and piano all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes the game will demand us to play a little bit differently, and that's what FIFA World Cup has helped us with. It forced us sometimes to play a little bit differently because the oppositions are different. Fluminense game, it wasn't as fluid as Borussia Dortmund, so it helps us in terms of that regard. And I think with those things, because also it's not too far, it's not so long time ago, so the muscle memory is still fresh from the players, and we're still using the same players. So I'm expecting the players to actually still continue.
Yeah, speaking on the difficulty of the league, because it requires you to be consistent for 28 games. We are, first of all, as the Pitchside podcast, congrats to Ribeiro on all his awards. There are other questionable things that we've seen, and I've seen on social media where they've questioned. We had the best defensive record, and we didn't get defender of the season. We saw as well things with the midfielders. When you check the stats, they also speak a different story. What's your take?
Yeah, man.
Is Salah still considered as a young player? Because
No,
he's
they
young.
changed the age group.
Okay.
Yeah,
They changed the age group.
yeah, they changed the age group.
Is it no longer 23? I'm just asking a
No,
simple question. Is
I'm
it no longer
asking these things.
23 and below?
You know, I saw.
Because if that's not the case, then he should be
That's-
taking.
Yeah, I saw a comment.
based on the
Somebody
set.
said a couple of years ago.
Before
I
you go,
think- yeah.
what's the age now? What's the age?
I stand to be corrected on that. They said Tefo Mashamaita had won, I think it was player or defender of the
Defender of the
season.
season, and he
And he
handed it
said,
over.
he handed it over. So there are people that are calling for people to do the right thing. Because in my mind, and I'm
Yeah,
happy
be an
to be
honest
wrong,
guy.
be an honest guy, right?
Yeah.
If we're talking about the league, and you, Modise, have conceded as a goalkeeper 20 goals,
Yeah.
and I've conceded 5.
Yeah.
How are you the goalkeeper of the season over me?
But also the question I can ask is, let's say I've conceded 5 goals.
Yeah.
Ne? But I'm still fighting for top 8. Yet, I've conceded 10 goals, but I still win the league. So for another dynamics
Yeah.
are always different as to then how then do you judge? Because first of all is
The number of games you played.
if I have to judge a goalkeeper of the season, I need to judge of the number of saves that kept the team in game.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that I need to judge. You know, what are your contributions
Yes.
to the team going forward?
Yes.
Are you just kicking the ball out as a throw-in? Are you contributing to the assist? The number of saves at minutes, what minute you make that type of a save that kept the team in play? How
level of
many minutes of the match have we
concentration.
won? Are you And at you know what it does then? It forces us now to have an open conversation.
100%.
But it's something that we don't have.
Yeah.
Every season we always have those type of conversation about Naves winning. But the problem is we don't have an open discussion as to then why this person becomes a winner, right? I'll give you a practical example. I've always played midfield. I've never played anywhere else unless Kelentwana. You know, when you're starting out, you don't know where you play. But I've always played a midfielder. So as a midfielder, as an attacking midfielder, right? My duty and my job, if I'm a playmaker, which means I need to make the team play. And most of the time, I might not win the man of the matches. But if you remove me, you'll see my So my contribution then, that's where your base is. Okay, sharp guys. Without this guy, this team doesn't play this way. And then what are the add-ons? Do I have assist? Do I have? And then from that, and then you can go on the category of one of the best midfielders, right? But if you're a defensive midfielder, then what type of duties do you have regarding the team based on the team that you play?
Yeah.
And also and you must also understand that the only time that will separate you from the rest is when you're playing against your peers, the best of the best in the country, your level. Then if you're not on the par of your level, then why are we still having the conversation? But I'm still going to say, regardless of what happened, I know for a fact. Okay, we also said it in the Pitchside podcast that Makaula had one of the best seasons. In that midfield, he had one of the best seasons, right?
Okay.
And especially from him, I've never seen him play like that.
Okay.
He was one of the most important players in that midfield.
Yeah.
Pirates, yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and say again he had better season than Allende, but also I can also sit and say Allende maybe didn't have a better season than
Yeah.
Makaula.
Yeah.
So that's debatable.
100%.
And I like that.
100%.
Right?
I guess that's what makes football exciting.
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
game
it's-
of opinions,
of
right?
course,
And
of course.
you've got to look at it and also then say, what am I judging on? Because sometimes we'll look at, for example, Makaula and say, yeah, for his age, he's killing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but what are his peers doing? And by peers, I mean people playing at the same level
yeah.
as him.
As him.
Does it make sense?
In
And
the
that
same
goes
position,
for
yeah.
in all other things. For example, player of the season, it was undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Like there was
By
the
far.
gap was
From
far.
February.
We've said it from
Yeah,
far.
from far,
This thing.
yeah.
But the other ones, it becomes a little bit more subjective,
Yeah.
and I guess the fear of having these open discussions is then comes up and it says, because you might poke some very important holes in this argument. Yeah.
Because also, like, I'll speak as well from my own experience as well. When Football of the Year started, it started with me. We were number 8 on the league. I didn't know there was a trophy that was called Football of the Year. And I'm a student of the game, right? They created that award. And I knew after winning it, I didn't deserve it, right? I have to prove myself the next season. Because there was criticism like, winner Joang Football of the Year, number 8. I had to prove, right? But when I won the football of, so the things like sometimes in South Africa, and I'm happy that Ribeiro was able to win the things that he deserved. In South Africa, sometimes when you win too much, they pull you back. Like you can't win too much. For instance, I once won Sports Personality of the Year. Sports Personality of the Year, which means I was better than a cricketer, rugby, all these other people.
Yeah.
But I wasn't better than my peers.
Phew.
I didn't win Football of the Year,
Yeah.
but I won Sports Personality of the Year. So then, because we don't have open discussion, if there was an open discussion, then I should win Football of the Year. If I'm winning Sports Personality. Which one netball?
Yeah.
Captain.
You understand? So that's the thing, like always these awards become subjective, but also like we need to move into a space where we have an open discussion.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the fans are the people that makes the game the way it is.
100%.
Right? So then if we don't include them, there should be awards that not basic, maybe not have fans be able to vote because we know where it is going to go. But I'm saying
personal.
when the league starts, like now it started, from the first game, guys, these are the criteria
100%.
of Football of the Year. These are the criteria of Midfield of the Year. These are the criteria of Goalkeeper of the Year. So that when the time comes, when we select it as people that are going to be, those who are selected, which I don't want to be part of. Those people, I'm just disclaimer, I don't want to be part of it.
You don't want to have blood on your
No.
hands.
So for those who are selected to be part of the committee that selects players, you tick the boxes that are there. That you know that, okay, sugar, this and this. And also, like, you need to know that you're going to be part of, so that from the season at home, you're doing your own research, you're also doing your own notes. When the time comes, you refer back to, the whole season, like, guys, Naves, for him to be player of the season, for Naves to be part of the Football of the Year, Naves has won 15 men of the matches.
Yeah.
If you have won 15 men of the matches, you should be Football of the Year because nobody will ever win 15 football player of the match.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you've got 30 games to play.
100%. I think it makes sense because then we're becoming a little bit more clear, so that the field is leveled and everybody knows what the criteria is. Because currently it's just we don't know.
And also it gives opportunities to players also that are playing for not so-called big teams to know what, okay, because every player should have ambitions.
100%.
Right? But okay, chap, if I want to be midfield of the year, which means these are the things that I need to do, and for me to get to that point, and that might help me to play for maybe Sundowns, Chiefs or Pirates. Then you start knowing you're doing all this type of things. It's wadlala. Then you don't even know. Surprise
Surprise.
But anyway.
No, thank you very much, gents. I think that it's very important to have these discussions. Just so that everybody has the knowledge, and also having these conversations might spark something in the people that make the decisions, the powers that be, so that this thing becomes a little bit more clearer for everybody to understand. Score prediction. Wait, before we score prediction, but I'll just already. Traditional wedding. Why won't I that touch?
December we born.
No, amazing. The new jersey is out in all Puma stores. If you can see in the back, it's the home and the away kit. They're definitely out. So do make sure you go out to your Puma store and get yourself the brand new replica kit for the season.
Yep.
Score predictions, gents?
Mamelodi Sundowns 4.
3-0.
3-0?
Yeah.
All right.
Clean sheet, Baba.
Clean sheet.
Yeah.
Hare kwalekwa.
Yeah. What's it? Oh, wait, before this, you got. When in the last 5 years, let's say 5 years, how many football of the year have we taken? Mamelodi Sundowns.
Get back to back.
When was the last time we didn't have football of the year? It was Lodge. And then after that? Okay. As I was saying.
Arieng Masandawan, Arieng. Artakaningo Stadium, let's get together, support the team. So my score prediction is that Mamelodi Sundowns will win. Score. A win for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah, now you
Score.
predicting results.
Okay, more than 2 goals. More than 2.
And again, not Simple English.
Gents, more than 2 goals.
Okay, the goal is the guy.
Say more than 2.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having.
I'm saying more than 2 goals.
Okay.
So it will be maybe 3, it could be 5. The way we are firing, I can feel 5 or 6.
Then
in
say
my
it with your
system.
chest.
I've said it, more than 2. How? Anyway, we do have some comments that have come in on our YouTube page. The first one is from Judith_Smith official. I'm the biggest Sundowns fan all the way from the USA.
All right.
International.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
That's what's up, man.
That's what's up.
Julie B, check, man.
At Londo Mapanga 2130 says, I love our coach. He's so well spoken and funny. This guy talks like someone who knows what he's doing, and he does. We have seen his work. He went above all the critics and proved he is the right man for the job. We await the new season to see what he and his team has in store for us. Kabuyelo Masandawana.
That's a nice one. That's a nice
That's
one.
a nice one. Then we've got Tsepiso. Welcome back, Masandawana. It's been a minute. Let's start the season on a high. Thanks for inviting Coach Cardoso. Last season was a warning. Now all guns will be blazing like the Limpopo sun.
I got Rona, you go for all guns will be blazing.
Yeah.
We're not cookie.
No.
No time for cook. 15 years ago. Let others cook. Rona we reload.
Little construction site. There's a builder, there's a cook. Get the guns.
Masandawana, this is the Pitchside podcast. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us your comments. Kabuyelo Masandawana.
Kabuyelo.
Arieng.